We have quite some people coming in, so let's start. So let me introduce real quick. So if you're watching this is Ray Chiu Poker Podcast, 雷超撲克. But this is the very first time I'm doing it in English, and I have a wonderful guest here today, Andy Stacks.
What's up, everybody? Sorry that my Mandarin and my Cantonese, well, first of all, I don't know how to speak Cantonese at all. And my Mandarin is probably not good enough to have a fluid on
No. You're
today,
way too humble. Like, the reality is my Mandarin sucks.
Okay.
It really is. Your Mandarin is probably better than mine, to be very honest with you, man.
Works out for both of us then.
Nevertheless, great to have you here. Like
Thank
many
you,
of
man.
you probably have seen Andy from his appearances on various cash game shows. That's how I first know him too. So Andy, I know. Well, right now you're in Taiwan. Is it correct?
That's right. I've been here in Taiwan for the last about 6 months. 6 months now, and
How do you like it?
It's been great. It's been great, Ray. I've first of all, my family is back here, so I've been spending a lot of time with my family.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, seeing some old friends and reconnecting with people, and just honestly just enjoying my time out here. It's so different from my experiences in life in the States.
Well, for sure, man. I was gonna say because like Hong Kong people like love Taiwan as well. Like we love the food, we love the people in particular, because like Taiwan people are just so nice, don't you think?
I definitely for sure feel like Taiwanese people are just especially friendly and warm-hearted and things like that.
So like a lot of my audience like have been to Taiwan to play poker. So like, yeah, tell us how you feel about it. Like, because you're coming from American background, like you play a lot in the States.
Yeah. So since I came back to Taiwan, I've immersed myself in the poker community here, and I have to say it's vastly different in so many ways. First of all, I think people in Asia in general that I've met, they're very friendly and they're passionate about poker. And they almost I didn't know this actually before I came back, but when I first got to Taiwan, I realized that not only are they big fans of poker, but they're they almost put me on a pedestal. Like they treat me like some kind of celebrity, and I really wasn't used to that, because in the US it's like the opposite. Like when you're playing in these games, these poker games, the competition is a little bit different. Like people are not coming up to me and asking me poker questions. Like, I don't really get that much, like there's so much competition in the games I'm in there that I was kind of surprised when I came back and had all these people coming up to me and want to take photos and ask me a ton of poker questions and things like that. Like they really want to learn, and they were humble, and they were just, it's hard to turn them down, when they're coming up with me that attitude, when they're just like genuinely, want to know more about poker and stuff like that. So,
I mean, I think this poker culture or community does not have a very long history.
Yeah.
I mean, for example,
it's still very,
very new. Like, for example, like CTP, the biggest poker club here in Taiwan, is just celebrating the 5th anniversary, I think.
Yeah, they just had their anniversary. It's great because I think in Taiwan it's a great place to learn poker too, because they have smaller buy-in events and it's not as intimidating for new players.
From what I saw on your YouTube channel, by the way, tell us, what do you intend to do with this YouTube channel?
Something that I never would have imagined that I would have done, it's something that my best friend has actually been trying to convince me to do for ages. I mean, I've been playing poker for 17 years now, and it's something that my friend has brought up in the past for me to try, and I've always just immediately said no, turn it down. Like there's no chance in hell that if you asked me a few years ago if I was going to do this, the answer would have just been there's no way. Like it's against it's just against what I believed back then, how I should carry myself as a poker player. I think the game of poker has evolved so much in the last 17 years that I've played, especially in the last 5 to 10 years, that I feel like it's not a bad thing to evolve with the game, as a player.
I definitely see what you mean. Like you play poker for like you just mentioned 17 years, right? I play since 2007,
right,
for 14 years,
Right.
right? Like back then, like the what we call influencers, nowadays, or key opinion leaders, right?
Right.
They were the top pros, right? Remember, like back then it was the Full Tilt Poker, right? Those guys, right? Phil Ivey, Eric Seidel, those guys were cool, right? But like I definitely see like how the culture, the community changed, the technology changes, right? Like now, to be honest, I don't think for example, like I no longer think, when I think about the most important poker influencers are YouTubers, actually.
For sure. The reach is amazing. The following that they have and the amount of people that they reach with their videos, and new players coming in watching their videos.
And they do like these meetup games too. Like I think I still haven't seen them in Asia, which is something I hope to see soon. Or I mean, maybe you can do some meetup games.
Hey.
No, I mean, like you should organize meetup games. So like, I don't know, somewhere in, I don't know, in Taiwan or somewhere, people go there to play, wanting to meet you.
I've actually held a couple of them out here in Taipei. Turned out pretty well.
The time tournament, right? What's they call it?
Yeah, that was one of them. But we also did a couple of them in the past where same thing, single table or like couple tables. But I plan to do more, in Taiwan. And I'm also open to, any doors that may open in Asia, in the Asia poker scene as well. As obviously we're, can't do anything now because of the virus, but hopefully when things die down, I'm looking forward to traveling a bit more and checking out the poker scene, in Hong Kong and China and where else?
Vietnam is my favorite, probably my co-favorite with Taiwan, and then the Philippines, South Korea as well. Really great. Let's get back to your YouTube channel, right? Like, so
yeah.
How do you envision? Yeah.
So yeah, well, like I said, with the evolution as a poker player, with the game and putting myself out there and doing something that I never thought that I would ever do. It's almost like a personal challenge for me. The way I saw it, is because of the fact that I would never do this is the exact reason why I'm doing it. I'm trying it, for me, it's like there's only a certain lifespan that you have to do something, to try something. And I feel like now is the time, since I'm back in Taiwan, I have extra time. And I thought to myself, like, why not? Why turn it down for this long? And now you have the chance to reach people and to share your experiences and, things like that, to document your life out here, and see where it takes you. That's how I kind of got started, and the more that I'm doing it, the more that I feel that it's great to help promote poker internationally. I think like two decades ago, when the poker boom first started in the US, I was really fortunate to be a part of that.
Chris Moneymaker, yeah, like back then, yeah.
I was super fortunate to be part of that, and I feel like, if I can do my part here to help promote it in Asia as well, then it's something that I should definitely be a part of. And since poker is still growing out here, and it's, for me, it's like I feel like why not give back to the community that I've taken so much from, for the last 2 decades. So much of poker is so self-serving. I think people are like entitled, and they feel entitled. They show up to play a game, and
I laugh because I understand and agree exactly, not because I disagree. I agree, actually. Very self-serving, so it's self-centered, right?
Yeah, like part of doing the YouTube and talking about poker, talking about hands, it's just something that was really foreign to me a few years ago. Like everybody knows, like on Live the Bike, or if I'm on the poker table with them, it's the last thing I'm going to talk about is poker. Like, I'm not going to talk about strategy. I'm not going to expose how I feel about certain hands or things like that. But I feel like because I've been like that for so long, that
I hear you, which is, very different from playing a sport, for example, right? Because if you're playing, like, for example, you play golf, right? You would talk to your friends, right? Like try to improve each other, right? It doesn't hurt to help a friend to get better, right? But in poker, I guess it might, right? Which is why like many like top poker players start doing poker coaching as well as coaching videos. There was this controversy, like, are they, did they make the poker world, poker population too good, so like it kills everyone's profit. Like you know, like there was a big debate back then, like a little less so right now, where actually a lot of people try to be coach or make coaching videos right now, right?
For sure. I don't think I would ever do like actual coaching videos and try to profit off that, you know. But I guess so many questions out here in Asia from poker players that are up and coming and they're new to the game, and you know, they ask me a bunch of hand questions and things like that that I would be open to doing one-on-one coaching, you know, like for players that really want to improve. And if I felt like it was the right fit, I'm going to be open to doing that in the future. And
so more like an apprenticeship, something like that, right?
Sort of like that. Yeah. And I actually have somebody that's I'm talking to that is helping me create some kind of like a website, you know, where they're able to fill out some questions and kind of let me get to know them as a poker player and see what they're looking for, you know.
So, but like what you just mentioned, like reminds me of a very interesting point. Like you probably are familiar with the Hong Kong poker scene. Like I often, well, on my show, obviously talk a lot about Hong Kong poker scene, how I think like Hong Kong is a very difficult place for an aspiring new poker pros to start. What can you say about Taiwan and the States? Like for someone young, want to start, like, you know, how do you think? Like, is it easy, difficult?
There's pros and cons. It's definitely a lot harder now than it was, you know, obviously 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot harder now. But at the same time, there's still abundance of games like everywhere. Like if you just go to LA and the main local casinos, you can just hop into you know, any one of the smaller games. There's just so many games running all the time, 24/7, and that's definitely one of the pros, you know. And you know, whether you're in Vegas or in LA, you know, there's no shortage of games. Whereas in Asia, I think sometimes there might not be as many games, you know, especially if you're playing you choose to play live, you know. Nice. And so that's one of the big differences, I think. So it's still there, you know, it's still there.
Okay, so I've been putting off for a while now, but like, I hope you don't mind, you know, like whenever I try to, you know, tell people like tonight's my guest is Andy, I'm tempted to say, you know, Andy from Life at the Bike. Does it bother you? Like I refer you to as Andy from Life at the Bike?
It doesn't bother me. I know most people recognize me from that show, or maybe some of the big pots that I've played with certain players.
Like, so I talked to my audience members before, like try to ask them what they want to ask you about. Like, unsurprisingly, many of them are about, you know, your appearances on the show. So see, you know, let me bring up a few. Like the first questions I got was they would like to know, do you feel nervous, especially when you're playing, you know, high stakes, you know? High stakes on Live at the Bike when you know so many people. Like right now, it's a very popular show. A lot of people, you know, watch it live or, you know, the recordings. Like, does that make you nervous?
You know what, Ray? You get used to it. In the beginning, when I first started playing on stream, it was a little bit weird and took some getting used to. But after a while, you almost kind of just forget the camera's there. You know, especially in when the game's bigger and there's a lot of money at stake. I tend to find a way to just ignore that I'm playing on the stream, and I just try to just be in the moment and just play and focus on the game, and you know, so it definitely is takes some getting used to in the beginning, but yeah, it's after a while it's, you know, just like any other poker game and you forget about it. So
yeah, like because this show has been around, and I mean I've never been on the show, but you know, as a watcher of the show, I don't think they're that intrusive, right? They just, you know, they put the camera there. They have a commentator, which you guys can't hear, right? And you're there just playing poker, right?
Right, for sure.
The next question, right? So does your appearance, like, you know, your fame, your popularity, does it hurt you from getting into the private game scene in LA?
Like, does it hurt?
Not really. You know, I think maybe for certain players it might affect them, but personally for me, it's hasn't really affected me much. Like I said before, a little bit earlier, Ray, I think you know, the private game scene, there's going to be some massive games, obviously, and there's going to be some smaller games. But for me personally, if I'm going to a private game, I'm not going to be going to the bigger games if I don't know what's going on there, you know, because the larger it is, the more room there is for there to be something to happen.
Don't you like, do you sometimes get needled? Like, oh, you're that guy from the Life at the Bike Show. You must be a very good player, win all the time. You probably get needled sometimes, right?
I do get that, but the thing that a lot of people don't know about is that when I'm at Live at the Bike and if I choose to go to a private game, I'm very different. You know, I'm not how I am on the show. You know, they get to see a different side of me, and so I think that eases people's worries a little bit. Is that I'm most of the time if I'm going to a private game, I'm gonna be going there to try to have a good time with people and just play some poker and have fun. Where I feel like maybe when we're playing at the casino for more money, a lot of players are going to be more serious themselves, and so that's going to kind of trigger me to not be the same as the way I would be at a private game, you know. So yeah, it doesn't really affect me. I'm still able to play in a lot of these different games in and out. So
well, I mean, I can't say I have the same level of fame as you do, but like whenever I play in Asia, like I do sometimes get that, like because a lot of people that I don't know would know my name and they expect me to be an excellent poker player, which I'm not. So it is a little pressure, you know.
You got to put on the Hawaiian shirt and you know, you gotta do some extra, you know. You know.
I have worn a Hawaiian shirt in the past, and maybe I should do that more often. Actually,
sunglasses. They need some really ridiculous sunglasses.
I'll take that to heart. I'll try that. You know, when this clears up, when I can go play poker, I'm gonna get, you know, like find my Hawaiian shirt and outrageous, you know, obnoxious sunglasses. See how it goes, right?
All right.
Well, nevertheless, I hope you continue to have fun in Taiwan and do great things.
Thanks, Ray. I appreciate it, man. I'm going to have to make it out there to Hong Kong, and we'll get hooked up over there, and you can show me around, and you know, hopefully we get to play some poker together too.
And if you know, anytime, you know, you have more you want to talk about, well, we'll have you on my show.
There might be, you know, we'll see. There might be a part 2, but you know, we'll talk about it. So
well, I think a lot of audience members will love that. All right. Thank you, Andy.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks for everybody watching.
Thank you for watching. This is it for tonight. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.